Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. I'm so excited to have Tanisha Nunn Gary on the show. We've been trying for a while. My schedule's been crazy, but she has a lot to talk about. She is the president, CEO, founder. I know you're not all those things, but you're going to clarify that for us, of the African American Chamber of Commerce, Central Florida chapter. So we're going to talk about the chamber itself, the value of the chamber, how the chamber came into being. I'm a big believer in getting involved in your community, and the African American Chamber of Commerce is certainly one of those amazing organizations that does such great work in the community. Welcome, Tanisha. How you doing today?
I am great. Thank you, Ted. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
I'm excited to have you. Your color looks great. Well, I'm a little bit of a different shade, but you're looking amazing. Loving the lighting. We were talking about lighting before we went live. That's for another show, ladies and gentlemen. Before we went live, I did tell you that the audience loves to know your journey. They want to know about you, a little background. You obviously weren't born and then said, I want to run the African American Chamber of Commerce. So there's a little journey in there involved. So give us a little 411 on you.
Absolutely, Ted. So, my journey began in a very small town in South Georgia by the name of Blackshear. Most folks have not heard of it. Population, not even 5,000. Wow. Was born and raised there, and it is about an hour and 45 minutes from Savannah. So went to high school, graduated. Then from there, I went to a historically Black college and university, Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia.
Amazing college.
I loved it. And we were actually just voted again for, I believe, the 16th year in a row as the #1 HBCU. So went to Spelman. And from there, I left the state of Georgia, my home state, and went to law school in Connecticut. Went to law school where I froze up in the Northeast. And after I graduated, I said, back south, I'm going. Bye-bye. So love the New England area. I still have a lot of friends up there. I try to visit, but I have been here in Florida since I finished law school in '99. I've lived in South Florida, but I've been here in Central Florida for almost maybe 12, 13 years and practiced law before wanting to do something different. And so I've been with the chamber almost 4 years, and I love to say it's just advocacy in a different way. Instead of representing clients as I did when I practiced law, I represent my amazing chamber members here in Central Florida.
I have so many questions. First of all, why Connecticut for law school? You probably decided, did you just need a change to get out of small town Georgia, or was there something appealing about that particular law school that made you choose up there?
Absolutely. I did a program in between undergrad and going to law school, and it was in the Northeast. It was actually Dickinson School of Law in Pennsylvania. And while I was there doing that program, they had schools in the Northeast come and interview us. And so they had some funding and they recruited me, and I said, to Connecticut, I'm going. And I'm glad I did. It was a wonderful experience to live in the Northeast and to experience the change of seasons and the snow and all those great things. But I'm a true Southern girl, so it's always great to be back home.
Listen, I was born in New Jersey, lived in New York. I don't miss that cold. I came down here as a kid. I don't miss that cold at all. It's bitter cold, but it's such a beautiful place up there. There's so many amazing places. Gorgeous. Absolutely.
It is. Nice to visit.
Practice.
I did all of, I would like to say, unfortunately, the sad things, products liability, as well as medical malpractice, all plaintiffs work. So a lot of my cases were death cases or serious injury cases, quadriplegic, paraplegics, things like that. So practiced law for 18 years. And at some point just wanted to try something different, but wanted to use my advocacy skills and some of the skills I'd gained while practicing law. And so here I am.
That's interesting. Something you said just sparked a thought in me. Yes, as that type of attorney, well, any attorney, you are the client advocate. So you have this built-in skill set that you learn and it evolves as an advocate for people. And I never thought about how that is such a great transition to something else that's advocacy related.
Absolutely. And for all the listeners who may practice law or any type of profession, oftentimes you can look to see how you can transition and use those skills if you're looking at reinventing yourselves. And I know we've seen a lot of that during the pandemic. And even now, people are really saying, what is it that I'd like to do? And so for me, I definitely wanted to use some of the skills that I'd worked so hard to kind of, muster up and gain over the years. And this just has been the perfect fit.
So tell us about the Chamber, African American Chamber of Commerce. It's a Central Florida chapter or network. The African American Chamber is, if you don't know about it, it's very involved. You all have an amazing membership. I think that you are out there advocacy wise in a big way that a lot of chambers don't. Chambers are advocates in general, but I feel like the African American Chamber does it differently. So let's talk about the African American Chamber. I had, when I posted and shared a couple of things that you were going to be on, one of the questions that came up a couple of times was, do you have to be African American to be a member? So give us a little 411 on the actual chamber itself.
Absolutely. Well, first, I kind of chuckled, Ted, when you said I was the founder of the chamber. I am not the founder. It was founded in 1945.
Ooh, so you are not the chick.
I am
if
not.
You are. Your skin is even better than I thought it was.
I know. It's like, what am I using? However, we've been around for a little over 75 years. We're actually even starting to work on what our 80th anniversary is going to look like in a few years. So founded in 1945, and it was just an opportunity. You can imagine during that time, and we still have the need to come together and how can we support one another. So here it is, we are in 2022, and the Chamber's mission and vision is to be the preeminent advocate for Black-owned businesses here in Central Florida. Does that mean that you need to be Black or African American to be a part of the Chamber? Absolutely not. Everyone is welcome to come join our chamber. We have all different membership levels, from an individual member, if you just want to come and be a part. We have community members, just stakeholders, elected officials, as well as some of our corporate members. So it does not matter who you are. We welcome all to become a member of the African American Chamber.
Love it. And I knew the answer to that, but it's funny because people do ask. I belong to NAREP is one, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And honestly, I was like, well, I don't speak Spanish. You have to ask these things. People do wonder. And I want to try to break down that barrier because I think it's super important for people to get.
I'm glad you asked. And I get asked that a lot. And sometimes, even if I'm not asked, I think oftentimes people are wondering. And usually when I speak, I go ahead and just say, you do not have to be Black or African American. I just go ahead and let them know. So thank you. That's a great question, because we want to make sure that, everyone knows that they're welcome here at our chamber.
And I know that everyone's welcome at the chamber. And that's one of the reasons why I love the African American Chamber here, because you all are very inviting, engaging, advocacy at its, to me, finest and most refined level. You really do get back in the community. And I want to talk about that. Talk about some of the events and the things that you do, some of the community things that you're involved in, the chamber is involved in, because I think people are looking for ways to get involved. They want to give back to their community. They also want to network with other professionals. And a lot of them get stuck because either there's too many choices or they feel like they've optioned out. They don't belong in that. And I'm a big proponent. If you feel like you don't belong, that's exactly where you should start. But tell us about the advocacy and the community involvement and what chamber members actually do.
Yes. So, I am proud to say that I believe our chamber was the only chamber here in Central Florida during the pandemic to award grants. And as you can imagine, during that time, that with the shutdown, a lot of our businesses, both big and small, felt it. And Black businesses nationally, 40% closed, and we don't know how many of those have even been able to reopen. So what we were able to do here locally is we gave out $100,000 in grants to assist some of our members during that period. And we've continued to do so in partnership with our chamber member, AT&T. We gave out grants in 2021. And this year, in partnership with IKEA US Foundation, our nonprofit was chosen as the nonprofit in Central Florida to connect with the Foundation for IKEA. And we launched our first pitch competition. And it was awesome. We were at Full Sail University, where we hosted our 3rd annual Empowerment Business Conference. And with the pitch competition, we gave those members a place to pitch their businesses. The first place winner took home $10,000, second place $7,000, and third place $3,000. So with that, you know, access to capital has been and still is a struggle for a lot of our Black and brown businesses for different reasons. And so oftentimes there's not that generational wealth or the financial to help to be able to begin a business if it's a first generation business. And sometimes it's not those avenues through the traditional financing that our members have been able to secure. So we want to make sure that we're educating them on the importance of having the access to capital before you start a business, and even once you started, making sure you're continuing that that relationship with those financial institutions. And so that is one of the things we really focus on, is access to capital, as well as entrepreneur training and development. We have a myriad of workshops. Along with, you talked about networking and how important that is. We do have networking opportunities as well. August is nationally known as Black Business Month, and that's when we celebrate with our annual business conference. But this year at City Hall, we had a networking reception. And so we believe people like to do business with those that they know and that they like, and, you know, that they feel comfortable with. Being a member of a chamber kind of almost like vets you. When people come to chamber events, they feel like they're with like-minded people that are looking to grow, to network, to do business together. So for all the listeners, if you're not a member, you know, of any chamber, ours is definitely one. We'd love to have you. And you can check us out at blackcommerce.org to learn more about our membership.
I mean, I didn't need to be on this show. You could have just taken over. I love that. No, it's so good, because I think a lot of people they get lost. There's so many options out there, or at least in their minds, there's options. When I started my career out early, my father-in-law told me, get involved in the chamber, get involved in a chamber. And so I just have such a heart for the work and the connections and the progress that chambers kind of put you on this trajectory if you utilize them and you work with them and you're involved. No organization is good unless you're going to put the work in from your perspective. So you have to invest the time. But I feel like the chambers have such a much more myriad. It's a big group of people, and you're going to meet and network with people that you don't even know yet, but that you will do business with, and that you will develop relationships with, and that will introduce you to other people. The chamber, to me, is just an invaluable, amazing resource for business owners and anybody who wants to get involved in their community. So kudos to all you do. I think it's absolutely awesome how involved and how recognized the chamber is, the Central Florida chapter. So let me ask you, how do people get involved? Do they go to blackcommerce.org? Are there networking events that they can come to as a guest? How does it work? Because I know people are going to ask me later. Absolutely.
So there's a few ways. You can go to blackcommerce.org and sign up. You can also email us at info@blackcommerce.org. Again, that's info@blackcommerce.org. And we can schedule a one-on-one meeting. We have new member orientation the second Tuesday of every month. So you can come to that just to kind of check us out, learn about what the benefits are of being a member, learn about the different membership levels. But, you know, I do want to talk about just collaboration too. And we are located, our chamber is located at the National Entrepreneur Center, and we're one of 16 resource organizations at the NEC, where we're all geared towards helping small businesses, startup businesses, as well as those that are established businesses too. And so we believe in collaboration. We are friends with our neighbors at the Asian American Chamber, the Pride Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber. Our offices are located right there together. And so, you know, we do networking events with other chambers. We've done some things with the East Orlando Chamber. And I believe before we started, we talked a little bit about the Lake Nona Chamber, and we're looking at and doing some things with them as well. So it's an opportunity to even grow your network more, not just within your own chamber, but with others, with friends, with the Winter Park Chamber, you name it, you invite us, we'll come and be a part and do something together. So there are so many benefits when you join our chamber that we can help make some of those connections even outside of our network. So, you know, I agree. I'm glad that you kind of are a fan of chambers, and I wish I had learned about them even more. It is imperative, and I know we're looking at doing student outreach so that students know when you get out into, you know, your network and your niche, make sure you join professional organizations as well as chambers, and you're doing the networking, intentional networking, not just showing up at events and kind of being in the circles with those that you know, but really being intentional about meeting new people, learning how to properly follow up to cultivate relationships, because you never know now down the line, it may not be now, but you'll say, hey, I remember I met Ted, you know, at such and such event. And if I may, I want to plug one of our upcoming events.
Please do. Yes.
Yes. So for all of the golfers out there, we are having our 3rd annual golf outing at Heathrow Country Club on November 7th. That's on a Monday, shotgun at 9 a.m. And if you don't know how to play golf, still come out. At the same time, we have the player development clinic that will run concurrently with our golf outing. So it's been sold out every year. I know it will be this year. So Ted, I don't know, do you play golf?
I like to drive the cart and make sure somebody follows me with the cart accessories. Yes, so I'm there to support.
We'll do that together.
Literally, that's my favorite thing. Either be driven or drive that cart. But I'm not good at it, but I know the power of it. And it's always fun. It's always for a good cause or a good membership drive. I love golf outings for that.
Yes. So we invite everyone. Again, you can sign up on our website or email us at info@blackcommerce.org, and we can tell you more about it. But golf is a place where, as we all know, a lot of business deals are made, a lot of connections are made. And so this is just an opportunity for us to bring the business community along with community leaders and different people out to come have some fun and do some networking. So it'll be a great time.
Perfect. And that's going to be on the website too, blackcommerce.org. One last question before we head out. It's a personal question. I like to ask everybody something a little personal. Don't worry, it's not too crazy.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
When I say the word hero to you, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Oh, my maternal grandmother.
Tell me why.
Yes, so I call her Granny, but Granny, who's still alive, almost 98 years old.
That's her. Oh my
yes, really, I credit her with the woman that I am today in so many ways. I mean, she's a hard worker, she's a go-getter, but she's kind, she's compassionate. And I feel like she taught me so much that I'm still using today. So when I think of hero, it's not someone that you'll see on TV, but it's someone in my own family, and that's my grandmother. I hope the other grandmothers aren't listening. I love you all.
You know how many people say that when they say their mom or their dad or pick one, they're like, but I still love my dad or I still love my mom.
Right, exactly.
That's why I asked the question that, because, you know, I think people look, when we do these kinds of shows, first of all, they think it's all produced and, oh my God, I could never be up there. And so people will look at someone like you and think, God, she's amazing. And so I always love to hear from leaders like you who your hero is, who you look up to, who helped shape you. And the answers are always varied. A lot of times it's the grandma. I can't tell you how many times it's grandma.
It starts at home. It starts at home. I think a lot of the shaping and cultivating that we get, it really does start in those early years through our teachers. I mean, gosh, I remember my 3rd grade teacher who encouraged me to go to law school. I still talk to
my 3rd grade teacher.
So do I. She encouraged me to go to law school. So I think it starts early. So that's a reminder for all of us that are out in the community to make sure that we are helping to cultivate all the young folks within our circles.
Absolutely. You are a joy. Tanisha Nunn Gary with the African American Chamber of Commerce Central Florida chapter. You can go to blackcommerce.org, or you can find her on social media, or if for some reason you can't find her at all, reach out to me. I want you all to get involved. You're always asking me for ways to get involved in the community, not just from a money standpoint or transaction, but as an advocacy and giving back and building relationships. And the African American Chamber is definitely a place that you want to check out. Tanisha, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Ted. This was so much fun. Thanks for having me.
You were awesome. Y'all get involved, blackcommerce.org. Make sure you go there, check it out. I know Tanisha and her team are going to help you out, I promise. We'll see you guys later.